Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. In this video, we're going to be doing an account review for one of our members of the channel. If you guys are interested in getting one catered to your account as well, you can click on the link in the pinned comment below to get started. Otherwise, this video will be very informative for any of you who are looking to build characters and wanting to know what is the progress, although it might not be directly related to you. So my guy over here, thanks so much for supporting the channel. And he is a level 192 Buccaneer as well. And I'm going to be giving him some tips. So I asked a few questions. Is he free to play or not? How long is he playing a day? He says that he spent around $50 and like maximum $200 for him. He has about $50 more to invest. So I'm going to be suggesting some gear for him so he can get started. He wants to go to endgame bossing, try to push as far as he can. He played Maple before a little bit in the past, like Evan and Mercedes. Not too much, it seems. Love wanting to start MaplestoryN and he's playing Buccaneer. One benefit about this is Buccaneer is a really, really cheap class right now. If you want to buy gear, it's super, super affordable because the thing about Buccaneer is it does pop off a lot more with Legion and stuff like that later on when it's introduced in the game. So actually starting a cheap class right now is not too bad. Even though it's not super meta, in terms of efficiency, dollar-wise, it is really, really strong since you can get very good gear for very, very cheap. So kudos to you. You are choosing a very efficient class in terms of your dollar rather than like chasing after chase classes like Shadower and stuff like that, which is really, really expensive if you compare. Later, I'll show you in a bit. But let's go ahead and talk about it. You have $50 to spend. I will also be sharing with you shortly too. In terms of what you have here, you have currently 2k stat. You have defense ignore of 50%, which is and boss damage of 83, crit rate of 43 here. In order to do high-end bosses, you do need a lot more IED. If you want to do like the chaos bosses and stuff, at least like 80% would be really nice to have. But of course, you do need a lot more gear, like at least a legendary line or something like that. So that's going to be a little bit more expensive. But for normal bosses, you don't really need that high ID as of yet. You can also get it in your hyper skills. So let's first take a look at his gear. It's really, really free to play friendly, as you can see over here. Not super, super expensive stuff. He's using very, very free to play gear. The only thing he has right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-piece, 6-piece Von Leon set, which is really very nice. So he's getting the full boss damage 10%, some magic attack, some attack here and there, some another boss damage in the 4-piece, but no IED, no ignore enemy defense from this set. Otherwise, looks pretty decent so far. Everything has nice stars, but stars is not super, super important. The one I'm looking for is actually the potentials to see whether you have that percentage gain in strength. Because look at the stars, it's only adding 22. It's nice because everything is like adding 22. This one is 13 over here. You have a bit of 25 stats. They add up. But that 3% strength does make a bit of a difference. So one easy way, of course, is to find gear already on the market. In my opinion, I think at this early stage, people are just selling gear as soon as they find it. So you can get a lot cheaper gear. You don't have to cube it yourself. So my recommendation for your account here, Buccaneer gear is like super, super cheap. So don't bother potentialing yourself. You will waste money. And the market always changes. I'm giving you advice based on current market. So any of you who are watching this video in future or like playing other classes, it might be slightly different. But for Buccaneer, it's cheaper to buy stuff than cube yourself, in my opinion at least. You don't have to go very high, but I think getting the 3% is going to be really useful in the long term. But there's no need to rush to cube it. Your Von Leon Claw is okay, but you don't have attack percentage over here. So that is one of the downsides. You want to go for the percentage bonuses on attack as much as you can. Otherwise, your wrist armor is alright as well. You have a 3% here. 3% strength. You can get attack percentage, and you also have the badge of Saturnus. All right, so I kind of know your account right now. You have a decent gear. Your stat is also okay-ish. You have 1.9k, but you can make a lot of simple fixes. $50 you have to spend is roughly about, I think, 5 million mesos. Is that right? The math? I think $50 is like 5 million. You have badge of Saturnus, and you have a 4-piece of this already, and you are having a Mechanite pendant. I think one of the easiest ways is to get some of the boss equipments. I think those are one of the more efficient ones. Otherwise, if you're looking for stats. So my recommendation, since you are going for most efficiency, you are like a small spender, you just want to clear some bosses. I think that you don't have to do anything with your base gear over here. going for that nice 3%, 6% is a nice long-term thing, but you want to be able to fight bosses. So very simply, how I will do it is I will actually look for missing stuff that you have right here, whether it's in the eye accessory, ear accessory, shoulder, belt, or emblem or whatever not. Let's go and find some cheap stuff. So our budget is 5 mil now, and we are aiming to increase as much as we can. At the same time, one thing you need to know is your secondary is really, really weak. So you might be able to find a way better one and swap this one out for a 5 million price tag. Now let's go over here and like see whether we can find some Buccaneer stuff. So first I'm going to go into accessories to see whether I can get you anything that is cheap for your class. So let's just search what is the prices on the market. So for 5 million, I will just give you a range of items also. So I'm not going to give you like one or two, just in case the price moves as and when people see this. Just the broad concepts for your account. Of course, every account is going to be like slightly different. So not everything is going to be relatable. If you are playing like a different class, and your budget is different, the advice I have is totally different. So okay, some badges here. You have the Ifra ring. I mean, Ifra ring is not bad, but I think it's going to get depreciated quite quickly. So I wouldn't like invest in stuff like this. Horntail is okay, but again, Horntail also might get depreciated. You can use it for a meal later on, but I don't think you have to rush to like spend that kind of money. Let's see whether we get anything. You have a Machina pendant. What else can we get for this price range? The Day of Sidious is decent as well. Some of them are decently scrolled. Ifria stuff I don't really fancy too much in terms of value. Let's see whether we can get anything else. Otherwise, right now, I'm looking for a secondary maybe. So far, I don't see anything that is too tempting here in the accessories line for under 5 million. Stuff like this, an epic one, a completed one already. If you can find multiple lines of strength, because you're using a Machina. So if you can find a base Horntail with like a lot of strength, epic, those are like really good value. So you don't have to cube it yourself. You can always sell it off for not much loss later on. I don't really like this. If this one was like strength at 1.5 mil, I think it's really good value. But this one is not really, because it's just one line. How about this one here? This one is, no, that's not good either. The Neophyte shoulders are also decent, but you don't get the boss set bonus. It seems, I mean, for long-term investment wise, at this price range, I wouldn't invest in a lot of this gear, to be really honest. I mean, the Silver Blossom rings are where it starts getting interesting, because you fill up a slot, you put in the boss, and there is no better alternative. So like stuff like this, I will consider. You can consider a strength bonus potential Silver Blossom ring for 1.7 mil. It won't add a lot to your damage, but this is a super long-term item. If you can find an epic one for a similar price range, it'll be really good. But okay, so I kind of like see in the 2 mil price range, the one that looks interesting is the Silver Blossom ring and maybe a necklace or the Dear Sidious earring. Now, instead of looking at that, let's switch over. Let's look at secondaries for your class. Maybe you can get a cheaper one in the market, because we are on a $50 budget, so I want to give you something that you can use. We have a pirate here. Secondary, let's see. And there are two types. For those of you who don't know, there's a normal wrist armor and there's an evolving wrist armor. The one that is you want to go for is the evolving, because evolving gives you 5 attack, which is long term. Whereas the normal one gives you 3 attack. So those of you who don't know and buy the normal one, the pros might not want to buy it later on. So you can use it on a meal, it's cheaper, but if you are going for endgame stuff, you want to get the evolving, especially when the price difference is like 10k. Please go for the evolving. Like, I don't understand why people go for the normal one. So you can sell this one. I have a normal wrist armor. I'm also waiting for the lockdown to end, and then I'll sell it. And you can see if you try to cube it yourself, which is why I say like for Buccaneer, your class specifically, you don't really have to cube it yourself, because for 300k more, you can get an epic one really, really cheap. And let's just see. Let's remove all the rares. So at 900k, and then we remove all of them, we will go all the way up to like 1.1 mil. So your evolving starts on 1.6. You even have a 3 mil one over here. Unfortunately, it rolled into attack, so you have to spend a bit to like try to cube it. But let's see whether we can get something that's already done. And these are really strong investments, right? Because if you buy one of these, you probably can sell it off later on at not too much of a loss. And you also have a massive upside once the Legion unlocks, because Buccaneer is a really strong bossing mule later on. So you are investing in a proper character. Corsair here, 8 mil, 5, you can see it's a lot more inefficient. You can start getting uniques at like half the price of a Corsair. So you're actually getting a lot of bang for your buck. The one that looks interesting to me, I personally, let me just move this to one side. I personally will go for this one here. Even though it looks really bad, for 3 mil, you already have the unique potential in the top line, and you can slowly try to find like the attack percentage. If not, you are getting 12 strength, which is decent, and you don't have to worry about moving it into anything. So I would just use black cubes on this and try to find a attack percentage 9%, which might cost you way less than 1.4 mil. And at the same time, you have the RNG chance of leveling it up to legendary. So this looks like a pretty decent long-term investment. But just in case someone watches this video first and is also playing Buccaneer, the thought process of this is, why am I looking for secondary? It's because this one increases your damage by the most. You said your budget is around $50. So going for a unique line puts in a lot of investment into one item, but it's for the long term. So when you want to cash out later on, you don't get depreciated as much because you're buying it at really, really cheap prices. This is like what? How much is this? This is $30 for a secondary of a unique rare line. It's really, really amazing. Let's just look at the price trend previously. You have people like buying it at like what, 3 million, 2.5 million. This is like super, super affordable. Let's just see the items. What are people buying? Yeah, so someone bought this. Oh, wait, all items. Someone bought a unique for 2.5. Similar ones, 3 mil. So a lot of people are having the same thought process, right? People are also buying these really cheap ones, the unique and rare ones for like 3 mil with a double 9%, 6%. So you can wait. You can just keep monitoring this page. Getting a nice secondary will increase your damage by a lot, and you can sell it off later on as well. While at the same time, because your boss equipment, you can wait for it, more of them to be in the market, let them drop in price, and then you can pick them up later on after you have farmed. But whereas once you have a good secondary, there is nothing to upgrade from here. So this is a really solid investment for $50. I think this is really, really solid. You can wait, or you can just pick it up to you. But this will be my top recommendation. If there really isn't a choice and everyone's starting to buy the unique ones and it goes a lot more expensive, for 1 mil, getting an epic one I think is also really good value because your current one is a rare, so you don't even have that stats. So selling your current one for, like, let's say you take a L, you sell it for 700,000 plus, you top up 300, 400, or maybe like double the price, you can get a nice one, a evolving wrist armor here with epic lines, which gives you like 6% damage, which is already quite good in my opinion. Or you could just like top up a bit more. I really like this one. I like this 3 mil one over here really quite a lot. I think it's pretty good value, especially if you play a Buccaneer. Or if you have a bit more money, let's see some other ones. I only like going for the evolving. Like this one here is also really strong, but it's out of your budget. This is like double boss damage, but maybe not worth the 6.6. The next bracket is going to be this one here, the 9 mil. So if you have like $90 to spend, getting it at a legendary straight away is probably a good long-term investment. I would generally like to go for a legendary if it's cheap. So this is like not too bad. So that's why I have filters saved basically for legendary items. So this is probably my top pick. I don't think you can get let me see whether you can get a maple leaf for like 5 million. I don't think so, right? Even not a silver. Because if you can get a silver maple leaf at 5 million, okay, no way, it's like double that. So the emblem is definitely a long time away. But I'll definitely be focusing on the secondary first at a 5 million Neso budget. And then once you have the emblem, once you have that secondary, you realize your damage goes up quite significantly, especially if you can get the nice attack percentage. Otherwise, let's just see. I don't think you should change your Von Leong knuckles. So weapon and secondary is what I'm looking for. Knuckles, unless you can find like a super cheap one. What is a knuckles? Is it a two-hand knuckle? It shouldn't be too expensive for. Okay, let's look for epic. I just want to see the price comparison, see what is the difference. I mean, the problem with this is like you don't know whether it's going to get depreciated fast. But 8 mil for 3 mil, don't really like it as much because you do get hit by depre. Okay, no Von Leong. Let's look for is there an Unchained here? Unchained Claws for 5 mil. Okay, 5 mil budget is anything that is like above here. even to get a legendary is like 7 mil, which is not really worth it. Because you have to change your entire set just to move out of 1 mil, which is not really worth it because you're already so well invested in that. But you can see like for 1.8 mil, you can get a 6% attack line. But you're already using Von Leon, although it's just rare. But yeah, you can get epic for quite cheap price. Depends on you. I think if you don't want to sell anything, secondary is best. I don't see any like huge easy wins for your weapon, and that would probably be my recommendation for like a 5 mil budget. You can choose 2 ways. One is to go for your secondary upgrade. Otherwise, you can go for accessories. Maybe something long term like the Silver Blossom Ring. This one is probably quite solid. It's currently at like 1.3 mil. I would look to invest in like epic because it's like 1.8, 500k for an epic line. This one's giving you luck. So not that useful. 1.9 here. Let's see whether we can get a perfect lines. Yeah, but none of them are really a lot of strength. So for now, I would skip it. If this was a lot cheaper, like this was like 1.8 mil, I'll buy this straight away. You can keep monitoring this part because eventually someone's going to sell their Silver Blossom Ring. But the thing about Silver Blossom Ring is everyone is using it now as their best in slot because you have 4 ring slots and not too many other choices. So for this budget, these are quite good low entry points. The other one, of course, you can consider is an earring, like Will of Whips. But this is like going at 3 mil. How about the Dear Sidious? How much is it going for? So Dear Sidious are like half price, it's like 1.5. So you can consider getting stuff like this, which gives you that 6% as well, going at 1.5, 1.6 mil. This one is also like quite good because you get an additional strength. It's not a double line, but it is 1.6. Let's see whether we can get a 2-liner for us, a good price. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, don't think we got a good one. Yeah, I think it's not bad. 1.6 mil for a boss item. So your other options is to, of course, go for a Day Sidious, get the boss item as an earring, and then perhaps you can get what's that? You have crystallize the red crystal condensed power crystal. Is it this one? Yes. So this is the one that has no alternative also, but this one's really expensive because this is kind of best in slot right now for if you are looking for a boss set. Let's just see rare. Yeah, this one's not cheap. This is definitely not cheap because there's no alternative for this one. Yeah, how about crystallize aqua eye accessory? Because you don't have any of these equipped, so it's straight away damage increase. Yeah, it's also like 3.5 mils. It's not exactly super cheap. How about Neophyte belt? Because I believe, does he have a belt? No, he doesn't have a belt. Neophyte belt is also decent. It's like 1.8. But the rest are like going for 2.3. Yeah, so maybe not the best. Yeah, so I think I'll summarize. Long story short, you go for the accessories first. If you can change this, you can easily get one that is way better than your current one. And it's a long-term investment. Your wrist armor also is not super highly invested. And I won't bother potentialing it. And otherwise, you can focus on getting your 3-piece boss set or slowly getting the boss set stuff. And you want to focus on percentage stats. Because as you gain more of these stats, you'll be able to increase the amount of bosses that you can take, the amount of parties you can join also. Because a lot of the beginning part, people are just looking for a lot of stats. So if you can get this to like 3k, 4k, you are in a really good state to even like fight some chaos bosses, join some chaos parties, and then your rewards will go up a lot. But or you can just keep joining the boss carries and slowly get the resources over time, and then slowly upgrade by buying, filling up your NP slots. I think your current gear, whatever you have here, except your secondary, is okay. You don't have to change it because the next upgrade probably will switch to the Root Abyss sets in the near term because they are okay and no point investing too much in them. But yeah, if you guys are also wanting one account review for yourself with your own budget in mind, do consider clicking the pinned comment below and signing up. And thank you guys again so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful and see you guys in the next video.